Hi, welcome back, everybody. I'm joined by Craig Pollock here. We're going to be commentating the next round. It's going to be, who is it going to be? It's going to be, where's the match show?
Ooh, look at that.
Chris Iaali versus Connor Davenport. Rhinar versus Katsu.
You didn't know, but this is the 2019 AGE Invitational.
We went back in time to some classic WTR heroes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then also we're going to take a quick look at top 8 just to see the other decision matches. So we have Tyler Horsepool versus Peter on the other side of the bracket. That's going to be Briar versus Lexi. That's going to be another hard matchup for Tyler to climb out of, but if he can, then he's going to see, I think, probably a favorable matchup into the finals.
Yep.
All right. Perfect. Go back to
pretty exciting.
Match intro. Main screen. Oop.
They unbanned drone. Not even this format, and WTR is back.
WTR has always been strong. I think there's a lot of great heroes with great abilities, and we've always just needed more support for those individual heroes, and that's why you're seeing like a resurgence of Katsu. Katsu getting the massive buffs recently in Outsiders with like his flying dojo cards, his Be Like Water, that new amazing one that just gets you a free card, Path of
Bonds of Ancestry is just amazing, and the combo lines that people get excited about. It's like, oh, look, I did double bonds in the same turn. And let's see, we got some lists here.
Some lists. Take a look at Chris's Katsu list. He has one time snap potion, which is interesting.
Yeah, I wonder what that's. I don't know who that's for.
He says he wanted to play memes. I saw it on Twitter, so maybe he's just having some fun.
He's always having fun.
That's good.
But he's also always playing to win. So.
It's really interesting. Katsu, great. Got all these new buffs. Super good in the meta now. Very fast, hyper aggro deck. And then Reinhardt players, just stubborn. Not really too many new cards, but just want to be here playing Brute.
Brute's one of the pet classes, right? It's like if you're a Brute player, you're a Brute player. Because the meta's really never been your meta.
No.
You just kept bringing him. So why would you stop now?
You can't give up. You got to keep rolling those dice and hope for the best. Opening turn, we have the barraging beatdown. This is exactly what Brute wants to see. Stripping cards, making the block very awkward.
Yeah.
Intimidating 3 times. So the block. So the Savage Feast is going to discard 1. The last one is going to be Massacre. Massacre says if you discard me for a cost, then you also intimidate.
Yeah. So
3 cards intimidated total. Chris is unable to turn off the barraging beatdown now because he only has 1 card in hand.
Yeah.
So
this Connor, it knocked me out. He beat me round 5, and this was pretty much his start versus me as well. Just here, take your whole hand, and start at 30. He did 10 to me on turn 0.
Man, that's a strong part about going first with Reinhardt is you can just really get those intimidates off, especially if your build's set up for it. And 3 is always the perfect amount, especially when you get that barraging down. 5 damage is a big chunk to get out for free, especially on turn where you redraw.
Yep. And he got the arsenal, all that. He got the draw off of the Savage Feast. So.
Yep, because he discarded 1.
But Katsu says, I'm going to hit you for 1 anyway.
Chris, he's like, fine, I've taken 5 damage before. This is the start of the game. We're going to pitch our blue. We'll do a classic Kadachi, poke, poke. Usually you always take the Kadachis unless you think he's going to be going for something clever with a massive momentum play.
And he's actually running Pouncing Lynx.
Correct.
It's a little
shiny.
Yeah.
It's all good. That Link, so no threat for mask triggers. Just good poke damage. What's next in the combo line for Chris?
I think he's got a Descendant Gust Wave, Fluster Fist, and I can't see the last card.
He doesn't want you to know.
No.
And that's a Descending Gust Wave?
I believe so. Red.
Yep. Red. Coming in for 3. So this one's usually the most important thing. When playing against Katsu, he really can break open his turn by correcting his hand off the first attack action. So if this is hits, this will allow Chris Iaali to activate the Katsu effect and potentially correct his hand to a better combo.
Yep. Connor knows it.
Yep. It's going to be blocking with 3. Nice. Right after. Has go again, so it's a 4 break point. This one's a little bit harder for him to fetch exactly what he needs, so it's mostly just coming in to threaten damage. But Connor having the exact answer. Good little sync blow, correcting his hand. 2-card hand for Rhinar. Very strong. Chris choosing to just arsenal the last card and continue the setup for next turn. Looking for that big combo line.
Yeah. Yeah.
What?
That's what he's going to be looking for, because what just happened there is the exact game plan that Rhinar wants to play, right? He wants to play this mid-range, let's swing some stuff, do some vanilla damage. I'll poke you, you poke me, but I'm more efficient than you.
Correct.
Chris wants to attack for 20.
And he needs to have his enablers do that. He needs to find accelerators like Art of War.
Yeah.
He needs to find things like the combo lines organically if he wants to be able to do it effectively, because he won't have to rely on the Katsu ability to correct it all.
You think he's thinking, maybe if I block all this, I'll get go again on my turn with my quicken token?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think you have to do the I think he's just doing the calculations of like, man, what if I block this? How does that?
Yeah, I think he's going to block for 1 here. That's what it's looking like.
Well, he has Flick Flack and Arsenal, and I see one in his hand right now. He could potentially block both with just 2 Flick Flacks.
Oh, he does have 2. Okay.
So here's comes down 1, and then he's going to take some. So he's just going to mitigate some of the damage, shore it up a bit. Going to take 3. He didn't need the quicken, but just didn't want to take a ton.
So one thing on, blocking with the bracers there, against Rhinar, he doesn't have really on hits. So you kind of want to get your counter out of the way as soon as possible, so that way you free them up to be able to use them, and you don't have to worry that you didn't get the value out of your block. So against a lot of heroes, right, you want to use it for a break point, but not so much here.
You never know the opportunity where you might need that attack reaction for a good on hit, so that's exactly correct. Using it earlier is better than later. I think a good point is that Rhinar doesn't have too many hard break points and too many on hits that you'll need that 1 armor for. So just get the free block in it, save that 1 health, and look to find that good combo piece to really swing tempo out of Rhinar.
And this is like the attack you don't want to have hit.
Oh yeah, surging is also super awkward. A sync below doesn't quite cover it. It goes right over it. So you're gonna have to give him 2 cards, or I think that's the best way to do it efficiently is some armor and a card.
Yep, and look, he's got it.
He's got the awkward break point. This is one of the on hits that is gonna be effective. And also the scary part is now that you've used your breaking skills, you now have 1 in the chamber to potentially make that 5 if he had a perfect block.
Yep.
But here's that perfect block coming out. Does Chris opt to?
So Chris doesn't have a card in hand to Katsu with. So he can't, and you said we know he has Flick Flack in the arsenal.
I know that's the fact that it was a Flick Flack in the arsenal.
So he might, I think you could argue it either way, but he's going to go for it.
He draws a card off this though because
he's going to YOLO for that Bonds event. No, actually, does Bonds work off of any gust wave, or does it have to be descending gust wave? I actually don't.
Does it say descending or does it say gust wave? I think Bonds is an older one, so I think it says descending gust wave, not just gust wave. And the new cards say like half of the word.
So Bonds is actually from Outsiders, so
okay.
it might be any gust wave.
Okay, then it probably is then. That's the super interesting. It goes quite over. I don't think he has another option for defense react to block this.
No, I think this is. No, he does.
Oh, a reckless swing. Okay. He says it's worth blocking here. I got a piece of his armor. Playing it safe. Connor doesn't want to see what's on the other side of that card at the top of Chris's deck.
I think Chris is pretty happy with this interaction. If he get a
reckless out,
he just used 2 cards to block 1.
Yep.
And I know he blocked the on hit, potentially more, but
yeah.
Now he gets to just have a free hand of another crack at him.
You think that you would have let him have the on hit, saying it's not worth it, and hoping that Chris breaks into not that good of a card to snap back with?
Maybe. I mean, he discarded Command and Conquer off of the reckless swing.
Yep.
So, his crackback is Command and Conquer had he let that hit.
Correct.
Which is pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good, especially Katsu doesn't have armor to really soak it up. So
given that he actually had a good swing back. I think I probably would have let it hit and then cried when he drew the right card.
And that would have been he didn't know, that would have been a flick flack in Arsenal, which would have been even worse. So
Yeah,
Chris would
yeah.
be like, oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I have to block this.
Yep. Yep.
But that's hindsight. We know that they don't.
Yep.
I like how this is also a dual wield match. You don't often get to see
Yeah. Yeah.
double weapons.
We have the offensive brawler versus the pure DPS.
Alright, so coming out with 100 wins. Good start to the chain. Has to go again. Usually nets you a card. Once again, Chris is often trying to find that first card to be something simple in order to correct his hand for a better go. He seems to have an answer before this defense goes. Art
There
Award.
we go.
So we're going to get spicy. So usually you're going to do the +1/1 and draw 2. That's all the classic bread and butter for Katsu.
Right, and this is going to let Chris get a Katsu trigger if he so desires.
So you draw the cards first, and now the damage will resolve. Yep, all good. No responses here. So it's going to go over. Katsu effect is able to be used. Chris says, let's do it. He's going to discard one of the many cards that he got off Art of War. Probably isn't anything special to find, what would you, another 100 wins?
So I was going to ask you that. I'm actually not, I'm not a Katsu player.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the 100 wins line? These just keep getting stronger, right? They get
As time
+1
goes
for
on,
each
yeah.
one.
Yeah. Kind of like a spreading flame
Yeah.
effect, but they keep stacking up on each other.
Seems like it's got to be the best thing. So he's going to get a 0 for 5 here.
Correct. That should happen. And then I think the last one makes it so you can put them all back in your deck.
Yeah. And let's see here. 100 wins. Yeah, so 3 wins of eternity.
Getting great damage on Reinhardt. Chris really just trying to close the gap. Connor has that health lead, so he's feeling kind of comfy here, but Chris needs to find like a big pop-off turn. He opted not to use Massive Momentum here, which is very interesting to me. What would be the best target for, your links? What are you trying to find? Like salt the wounds?
So in Katsu, I think you're trying to get the dishonor combo off at this point is your like #1 target. Now Chris is, he's always gonna know the exact best math in the moment. So if there was a time where he's not gonna just be looking for that. If there's a time where getting Winds of Eternity, is gonna be better, he would get that. I think right here it's too early. Like he can't close the game out.
No.
So he's gonna be saving it most likely for that dishonor line.
You like water? Just throwing it for the damage. A good 4 damage. Very strong damage turn coming out of Chris. He's closed the gap a little bit. It's more down to 30-30 now. More manageable for sure.
Yep.
Getting 1 card out of Reinhardt's hand, but Reinhardt's fine playing with a 2-card hand, so it isn't the end of the world. Connor could still have a good snapback if it's like Blood Rush Bellow, or depending what's in his arsenal to go after that Flick Flack that seems to be stuck in Chris's.
Yeah. He's just sitting on it.
He's waiting for the right time to use it. I'm sure he'll use it soon. It's a D react. That's what they stay there for a reason.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4. All right, Reiner now with a response at 29 health. Not too worried. Reiner still very high health. Has armor. Used all the armor on the scab skins, unfortunately. But here's the CNC. Great timing.
Yeah.
Exactly what he wanted to see against Chris. Chris, I'm sure, is not happy to see the CNC right now.
But you will notice Chris's feet. He did not play the Snapdragon Scalers. He's playing blockable boots. Probably for this exact scenario.
That's very true. So here's 1 card, here's 2. Better both block 3, which is possible. It's possible. Bonds and Dishonor were the cards. So, yep, blocks are good. But getting 2 cards out of Chris right now is super great for Reinhardt. It's going to make Chris's snapback not so great. Reinhardt's going to be able to ignore maybe some of the damage that Chris is going to be putting out. And hopefully line up is that a Blood Rush Bellow I see in Connor's hand? Possibly. And a Beast within.
Uh-oh.
Brutes are thumping. They are ready to go berserk.
Do we know what's in Connor's arsenal?
I don't. Most information I have is that it is a flesh and blood card of some sort.
Oh. Oh, he's getting them back. It's time.
Yep, if this hits, this is going to put all the 100 wins before it back in the deck. It's kind of fun. It's like cool anti-fatigue.
Oh, it's only the ones before it. It doesn't include the graveyard ones?
I don't think it includes the graveyard ones. I think it has to be like on the chain, but I could be wrong
Gotcha.
here.
Uh-oh.
It looks like Connor's opting to take all of it, so that's why Chris immediately put the 100 wins back in the deck because that's what that card does. So it's all the 100 wins on the chain.
Okay. Still good.
Yeah. As a Oldhim player, these types of cards that recur things back in the deck, do you think they're very potent against you for that matchup, or?
They're pretty good. I don't think against Katsu you're going to fatigue.
Correct.
So it doesn't matter quite as much, but you definitely want a lower threat density deck.
Yeah.
On their side, so you're happy to
Not
not let them recycle so that they can draw their blues.
Well, Connor getting the Blood Rush Bellow off, missing the Beast Within, but it's okay. Still drawing 2, hitting the Savage Feast. Have 2 floating. Here's where things can get pretty crazy. Connor can swing back with Claw into something in his arsenal.
Yeah. It looks like he drew a Fate Foreseen. Is that a Fate Foreseen on the right?
I can't quite see it.
That looks like a Fate Foreseen to me. That's not ideal.
Starting out with a Claw, though, for 5, go again. Vanilla damage. Kind of hard to want to block this, especially if you think.
There's the Flick Flack.
Chris is like, get this out of here. It's been in here forever.
Yeah, and it sets him up perfectly, right? So now,
yeah,
whenever he needs to block for 4, he can
block one more. Yeah. It's the next one that you block with. So it's a great one to start the chain with. This is exactly what he did here.
Yep. And I think he's got a. Yep. Look at that. So.
Perfect.
Blocks for 5, right? 3. It's +2 on Flick Flack.
It's +2 or +1.
Yep.
Nope. He says it's good. No damage taken. So yeah, then it's 2. Flick Flack's great. It's really shut down the Blood Rush Bellow turn at the right time. Intimidate one more time.
Yeah, and that's brutal, right? Because
Yep.
Now he can't block 2 cards even if he wants.
The timing on it was really good for sure on Connor. He could have played that way earlier, but he said, let me bait out another card in so he can't punish it. Cross strap.
Swing big.
Riled up. Plus, yeah, that was the Fate Foreseen. So right up's 3, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so it's going to be 7 plus
the Blood Rush Bellow,
which is 9, and that's a blue barraging. It's hard to see from here.
Yeah, it's all right. It might be a yellow barraging, it seems
so
like.
11 or 12 here.
With only 1 card. It says 9, so 10.
Huh.
So it might have been a blue.
Oh, yeah, blue is +1. Yep, there we go.
Yeah, so yeah, blue. So it's going to be 10 coming in. Chris can't turn off the barraging. 1 card in hand. He's going to take more damage than he hoped to this turn, even with the Flick Flag.
Yeah. Yeah, he blocked 9.
Yeah.
And still is about to, yep. He's going to take 7 here. Even it up. But Chris has to be feeling okay, right? So he just took damage and they're at the same health. So, you know, if they keep trading like they've been trading, you know, he's ahead, you know, after just taking Blood Rush. Although that being said, I think I see another Blood Rush in Connor's hand.
Which is super important, but you also see another Fate Foreseen. So
yeah,
you need to make sure he doesn't have another card in Arsenal either as well. So he really needs to make sure he's playing this correctly. Fate Foreseen on this first one, I kind of like, because what if Chris has like a Path of Ancestry or something, right?
Yeah.
Gotta
Actually, I don't even think Whelming has. I don't think that Whelming had Go Again. It doesn't have Go Again if there's no surging in front of it. So.
Yep. So Chris is going for the damage. That was a.
Oh, and look at that, a red Oasis. Oh, he drew not a good Blood Rush hand.
It is unfortunate. I would say maybe try and swing the claw exactly like this and try and set up that Blood Rush, you know?
Yeah.
So 3 damage is still good. Chris, I don't think will want to block it. He says, yeah, I don't know. I'm at 22.
Yeah.
But he also doesn't want to be kind of greedy. I think a lot of Flesh and Blood players get in this predicament of like, yeah, it's easy just to take the 3 and not think about it.
Yep.
But will that 3 damage matter somewhere else later down the line?
100%. And you look at Chris, like he's going to do the exact math of, if I take this 3,
Mm-hmm.
does it cost me more damage than I deal back? If he can do 4 or more back like this, he's taking it.
Yep. All good to go. He says, I'll be able to use all the cards in my hand. All of them are efficient. I won't have any extras.
Yep.
Chris is, I think, going to make a big push here. You might see the links pop soon because of it. 3, choosing not to pay. So when we play Be Like Water, you have to pay on the play to choose the name for it.
So is it on the play or on the hit?
I think it's on the play. It might be on hit, though.
Yeah.
It might be on hit.
What? He's just going to keep presenting 3s.
This is the 400 wins we've seen.
Yeah.
Right? So see that one kind of got recurred back.
This guy's going to get to 1,000. There's got to be, maybe that's the next bounty we can put up. If somebody gets to 1,000 wins, they can
become the master of the wind.
Yeah.
It's a Katsu only tournament. All right. He says it's 3 vanilla. I'm gonna let you hit. He says I bet you don't fetch here because if you fetch here, you lose 1 card and then you only have 1 card to pitch. There isn't really a combo line besides
if he gets the Winds of Eternity and gets it back again.
So you can't. So I guess hundreds is kind of a not too bad to have it hit just because of that.
But you're right. He doesn't. He says, "I'm just going."
Yeah.
Oh, he had all reds there.
Oh, that is unfortunate. Roundhouse kick is great. Says, keep my arsenal. That's good enough for now. I don't think Chris can be happy with too many of these cards he's seeing right now. He seems like he wants to do more damage to this Rhinar.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just not. He's not seeing those accelerators that.
Well, yeah. Well, this is why 19 is not
safe territory.
No.
Blood Rush, perfectly set up here. Chris says choose 1. Beast Within. This is gonna go off. Now Connor is gonna take damage. How many before he sees 1? 1.
Chris is liking this. Nope.
2. Okay, not too bad, but he still took a little extra point. So finds the Smash Instinct. That goes back into the hand.
This is not where you want to be.
He intimidates off the discard from Blood Rush Bellow. He's doing all these hilarities correct, which is awesome. That intimidates there. Now Blood Rush Bellow resolves, and you draw 2 from the Blood Rush Bellow.
And I think that's a swing big on the right.
You now have a 4-card hand again. You're floating 2 mana, and everything does +2. You are swinging for the fences.
This is where Rhinar kills people.
Yep. I think you do the classic claw. It's just great. 10 damage. Go again. Chris had his cards ready. He's like, all right, just take them, intimidate them. Chris has an interesting decision now. I think he definitely tries the full block here. I think you're expecting to have things more intimidated. Like what happened earlier kind of trains you to think that, oh man, he might have a barraging beatdown like he did last time where he does claw, barraging beatdown, and then I'm kind of screwed for blocking the bigger barraging beatdown thing. But at the same time, he can't. You could maybe have things to go again. Connor can roll scabs if he chooses to, and maybe do something cool with there's a new card that Reinhardt players use. I don't think he has in here the Free-Willing Renegade. Let's see, no, I don't think he has it in here. But that one's also it's a 1 for 6, which is cool.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think Chris is possibly trying to figure out what are the odds that he can do 21 damage to me. Right, he's got 2 block on. Maybe even he might even block with his links. Right, so like, do I have a hand that I can take this and swing back, or is this a good blocking hand? I try to just block out, hopefully have enough life. But the problem is if you give Rhinar another, full hand where you don't swing back, and you're now sub 10, he's got Gambler's Glove, so he can kind of aggressively attempt the scab skins, you're gonna have a tough time getting a big hand ever again.
I think that's definitely what it's going to come down to is that health lead. And Chris is doing the math on this. Like, how much is he willing to give him that health lead to make it so his turns aren't as threatening? Where Connor say, okay, I'll take it too. Let's just do a classic race. Chris is really digging deep with his brain power to see, are these worth it here? Do I give him one card? Do I give him two? That's another thing. It's like, do you give one card per claw so it always soaks up 3 and you're not wasting a point of damage where you're blocking a 6 on one
Yeah.
claw?
There's there's like it's the whole barraging beatdown piece. Like you don't want to get stuck where like you wait too long to block
Yeah.
and then they intimidate and then you never got to block.
Yeah.
Um,
Chris says, I'll take the first one.
yeah.
I think that's pretty fair. You know, you have a bit of a health lead. You can take one of those, so why not
Yeah.
the first one? See what he does next here. Claw again, pitching around up, so no floating. 3 cards in hand still, though, so most likely seeing another big attack right after this claw. That's going to be buffed by Blood Rush.
Yeah.
We're getting Rhinar sleeves. That's what we need next.
Oh yeah.
Katsu one's turned out real nice. Now Rhinar needs his time in the sun. I guess this is the thing. If they buff you, you get sleeves. Like Starvo got sleeves, Katsu got
Yeah.
sleeves,
No, that's
Oldham
yeah.
has sleeves,
Yeah.
Jeremiah.
The
You're-
sleeves are cool. It's pretty neat that like the community's jumped on them a lot, right? A lot of people are running their class sleeves.
I'm super excited. They definitely feel different. I tried getting some custom ones, but they aren't the same as the matte ones. So, Chris Elliott opting to take another 5, going down to 9,
Yeah.
turning off any Scarf or Scars Connor may or may not have.
There it was, swing big.
Swing big coming in with the Blood Rush turned.
There's what I said. And look,
10.
the mat, we'll see how correct I was if he blocks with his boots. Now going to 1 is kind of nuts against Rhinar because of Reckless Swing.
It's going to 2 is also
Yeah, but he could go to 3 with both of his armor. Be out of Reckless Swing range. I don't know what he has in his hand, and obviously it depends on what he can present back.
He has cross straps. That's a free big boy right there. That's a free surging if you want. Yeah, just a tough spot to be in. Seeing both those blood rushes really shot Connor ahead. The second one really put Chris behind, especially later on in the game when he was already like sub 20.
Yeah.
It's always hard seeing those accelerators sub 20. It's like, man, I have to give you all this. So, yep, here are those boots, just like you're talking about.
Yeah.
Says that's what they're here for, to block. I'm going to give you maybe 2 cards that block 3. So, I'm going to block 8. I don't need a quicken token. I'll take 2. I think you can afford to take 2 here.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, he can definitely.
Now the trick is like, are you still save your links? Your links doesn't block for anything. I'm pretty sure. Does it block for anything?
It does block for 2, but it dies
Immediately. So it's like mask.
Yeah. 2 with Blade Break.
Interesting. Okay. So now that like you're probably not getting the Dishonored line off, you're fetching something else that's 2 or under. I'm trying to think what that would be. That's like scary or does damage. Yeah. Blue Snatch.
I didn't. Oh,
Right.
did he? Oh, maybe he did have a. Maybe he had a. Oh.
Cross strap. We had one card intimidating from the Blood Rush, remember?
Yeah.
And then the rest of them were just plain damage.
That's interesting. So he lost a value out of that cross strap, but he's going for. Oh, so he has the bonds line.
Nice. So that's super good to have organically, bonds. You didn't need to go fetch it. This is just going to happen. Good breakpoint. Reinhardt's going to have to respect it. He is going to get, is that the Dishonor? Did I see him put at the top? You can fetch blue bonds off of mass. So that's a good point. Bonds is just great. He continue the line. Giving things go again is going to be a little rough, though. I guess he has the Breach Rider boots. He gets all ninja things go again.
Yeah.
But he would have popped that earlier. But I think he probably going to use that for defending things when things get intimidating. That's I think knowing how to use your armor against Reinhardt is super important for the exact reason is that he can just delete your hand so you can't block anymore. And you're going to need things on the field that can block for you.
Yep.
Traditionally, you get Crown of Seeds and the Shield that you can pitch
Yep.
to, but Katsu,
Not so much.
Not so much.
Yeah.
Still holding strong though. At 6 health, Chris is feeling kind of comfortable as long as Connor's still
Well, Connor's blocking, right? So we know he's not going to do another big
swing turn like Blood Rush.
Yeah. And
Connor's blocking perfectly too with like a sink blow at the right time.
Yeah, he's got the D reacts when he needs them.
Such a pro gamer. It's the mustache buff.
Chris is like, I was supposed to hit.
Yeah, that's exactly what Chris is saying. He's like, man, I didn't plan for him to have to sink.
Yeah.
Now what do I do now? Do I save this card for Arsenal? Do I continue to move this chain up? Do I threaten damage here? Because 2 cards might not be enough to make Connor want to block even more than that, so why not just wind up for another turn?
It looks like he's got Winds of Eternity as his last card. Yeah, so he's just going to
get the damage while he can.
Yep.
He's going to do poke, and he can still do the mask if he wants.
Yeah, that's true.
But is the mask armor more valuable here, or is the mask damage more valuable? That's what you have to ask yourself.
So what? I don't know Katsu's nuance well enough. The Breeze Rider Boots, their attack reaction, are they free?
Breeze Rider Boots, I'm pretty sure, are free, and they give your ninja attack
a combo,
action.
right? It's a combo card. Go again.
Yeah, correct.
Oh, that's an interesting block.
That is going to correct kind of a stuck card. You can't pitch it to swing back here, so I kind of like it,
But what? I'm curious why he doesn't put it on this for an extra 1, right? He lost one
use out of it.
1 point of block, right? He blocked a 1 with a 2 when he knows a 4 is coming.
The efficiency was a little bit lacking here.
Yep.
I feel you. Maybe he forgot. It was, Chris put it off to the side. Something I would do. Just like, here, this is the last thing you can do.
I think he just shook his... I think he sees it, too. I can see his face. He's like, oh, shoot, forgot.
Oopsie. But it's okay. Maybe that 1 damage does or doesn't matter. We'll find out. Maybe he just calculated where that was a calculated risk. I don't know.
Maybe he thought Chris would forget, too.
Maybe he's just trying to psyop Chris right now.
That's not a bad way to beat Chris. It's very hard to beat him through natural means, so anything you can do.
Just a quick little BM.
Yeah.
It's very true. That's how I tell people when I explain. I'm like, when you're playing against good players, if you put them in the gray or get them to wobble a little bit, then they'll start messing up a little bit more. But that's the only way you're going to beat them, because they're just going to do the math better than you.
Yeah.
They know more. Does he have another sink left?
Yeah, that's possible that he was looking. Maybe he's trying to get a card.
Definitely, digging deeper, trying to find, I think, the combo. Barraging beatdown's gonna be great. Just don't barraging the Art of War, force him to have it, then it counts as a free intimidate again. Swing big, massive.
Oh, but it does not. No more intimidates. Chris has a lot of 3 blocks in his deck.
That's good. 3 blocks are good.
So
9, 10. We need 10 dice.
But it's 10 or
91.
8.
Oh.
Right. If he blocks with 2 cards, it goes down to 8 because of
correct
barraging beatdown. So.
And then he takes what would 2 if it would be 6. So you just give him all the cards in full block.
So he's got a Surging Strike that's a 2. I don't know what the other 2 cards block for.
I think you lose agency though here if you give him all the cards, right? Like you can't pressure him.
Yeah. It's a pickle.
Then Connor just draws both reckless swings back to back and just does 40, and there's nothing that can happen.
Yeah. Well, we know he used the 1 early, right? So. Wait, is that Command and Conquer?
Command and Conquer.
He's got 1 in his list.
He's only got 1?
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's looking at. He's like, is that a red face down in my intimidate zone? Oh yes, yeah.
Yep. Very nice. All right, turning off the barraging beatdown. So going down to 9, taking 2. So I think this is being efficient because you can't be too defensive here at this low health. You can't just say, yeah, I'm not going to do anything to get cards out of your hand. Yeah. And you're going to have 2 cards here.
Yeah.
With 2 cards, Katsu can present
Not quite 8.
Not quite 8, but
Yeah.
close to 8, where you might get scared. What if he has like a razor?
Yeah,
You can snap your
yeah,
mask and get something strong, and then
yeah. Well, the thing about Rhinar, right, is like he he has a lot of medium hands.
medium.
So
Yeah. Yeah, he has a lot of fair vanilla damage turns. Surging is great here. This is like the big one. So if he surgings and he then can
he's got
links, he can
oh,
he
yeah.
can threaten lethal links. There's no more block on Connor's armor.
Right.
And if this, let's say Connor lets this full hit.
Right. So this is great, right? So
Yeah.
Connor pretty much has to 2-card block, and by 2-card blocking, he can't follow up with much.
Correct. Surging was exactly what he needed to see, and red surging was even better.
Yep. Yep. It's almost like Chris knows what he's doing.
Chris is believing to the very end that he can do it for sure.
Yeah.
He's playing very tight. He's playing to his outs, I think. He's had some hard block choices for sure.
Yeah.
But I think you're seeing that patience kind of pay off here.
Yep.
And maybe that 1 damage from the Crown of Providence, you might see
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
be relevant. So getting 2 cards out of Reinhardt's hand, very typical. Reinhardt can still play with 2 cards, but let's see which ones he got.
Yeah.
A
Yes.
little pack hunt, okay.
Yeah.
It's going to intimidate 1 just based off of the pack hunt itself.
Solid 6.
So hopefully it's something great.
Chris is like, leave me with 3 blocks, please. He does have a lot of 3 blocks in his deck. I know
Good.
all of his blues are 3 blocks.
Very nice. I don't think this Reinhardt runs pummels, correct?
I did not. Let's see here. I haven't not seen any. No, no pummels.
Okay. So no surprises.
He's very much a meat and potatoes.
Meat and potatoes.
I'm just gonna
Love
just keep cracking at you,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna just make you answer. I'm gonna intimidate your best card, and swing for 6 or 8 every turn.
So at least Chris doesn't have to worry about the surprise pummel. Oh, he's floating too. You know, I think there's a lot of fake outs that
Yeah.
can happen with those scenarios. So
Yep.
Chris is like, all right, just meat and potatoes. I got my meat and potatoes. Let me see what I got. This is what I've used. This is what's left in the deck. I think that's a big thing, which are interesting when you're playing as Katsu, is you have to know your graveyard and what's left in your deck because you're
Yeah.
always looking for your combo lines. Then you run out. You know, at some
Right. And here it is. Right. He knows. It's like, you know what, this. Going back to what I was saying, knowing the math and using the links exactly. Right. Like he wanted to dishonor line. Now he's at a point where he thinks blocking for 2 is the best value
out of this.
I can get out of this
with a yellow flick flack. So gonna be taking 1 damage because yellow
It's
is.
got. I know it looks yellow. It's. I guess it is.
It is
Oh
yellow.
yeah, there. I
There it
guess
is.
it's in the
2 yellow.
sideboard here. Yeah.
It buffs the next thing, so make it a 4. So you just
Yeah. No, it's good.
tag action is good. So now Chris looking to get him in that Kadachi lot. We all been there.
And if you look at Chris's life, it's not 2 or 1, and that is very intentional. He needed to stay out of reckless swing range,
Yep.
and I'm positive he's going to present 7 or more to force a block.
100%. And Connor, honestly, having the beast within here is scary.
Yeah.
That's at least 1 damage you're gonna be doing on your own.
Right.
If you get even more than that to go down.
He might block with it at this point to not kill himself with it.
I might be almost there to block with it. This is gonna get very scary if it's in your hand and you whiff a couple times because damage is gonna leak here.
Yep.
It's Katsu. That's what he does. He finds the little pinpoints, death by 1,000 cuts, and he's gonna hit you for the 1/1/1/1. And so having it hit at least 2 times this turn and keeping beast within, would you roll those dice?
No.
What health did you not roll the dice for beast within? Like 5?
I think. Well, I mean, it's pretty close, but I would want at least 3 health.
3 health before the dice. Okay, so Connor is going to be taking 1 here. It's going to allow Chris to activate Katsu ability. Let's see if he chooses to do so. He's thinking about it. So I want to activate.
So I'm looking, right, 100 win or spinning wheel kick does not combo with anything. So yeah, I think he's just gonna.
Yeah. All right. Kadachi.
Now, is he gonna show a red fluster fist?
Oh man, that'd be crazy. Arsenal.
No.
Arsenal. Getting one card out is great. Getting the guaranteed damage is great. Setting up for that turn. Chris has really showed his patience in bringing it down here.
Yep.
And, you're seeing these slight, small, just not a great evaluations, like you said, of the Crown of Providence here, where
Yeah.
Connor would have been at 5, maybe more comfortable health. We'll see how much that matters. Chris also
Yeah,
saw
look, he's
rolling.
YOLO mode, baby. There he.
Chris helped with the assist for the 5 there.
Yeah, he
Bounced
gave
off
it.
of
He
him.
gave it the old forearm.
Chris, I would have dodged that right away. I'm like, none of my luck can't take any of it from me.
Yeah,
That was
yeah.
intentional. So perfect. So 2. Connor's gonna be able to present a very big turn with 2 here.
Oh, I thought he was gonna get rid of that beast within. So
Yeah. I think Connor can say though these present lethal each swing, right? So this is good. This is good. So this is 3. It has to get a block 3 out of Chris. Chris does have 1 extra armor left on those Breeze Riders. Which
Yep. Gives him a 2 block if he needs to, but he's gonna have to block 3 twice, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise, he's in. They're both going to be locked soon, right? We got Kadachi lock coming in from Katsu, and we got Reckless Swing lock coming in from
Yep.
Rhinar.
Yep. All right, we're gonna see
Flick Flack.
which is gonna help his next block.
Right now he's got a 3 for now. It's like, so is Connor gonna swing for 6 with a beast within?
I think that's probably the best. Like the flick flag makes it hard because now his blocks are a little better.
Oh, is it? So that's just a 6 with.
That's just 6. Yep. That's the classic 6. I eat your brain skull
So
crack.
so we're gonna see a boots 3 with combo, hopefully.
And it gives Chris an opportunity to kind of swing back. This is the best thing. You had 2 action points. This is the best. This is the most damage you presented. Swinging both claws here. I don't know how optimal that would have been. We still got 2 cards out. This one will for sure get 2 cards out of Chris. This has
Well,
to.
it could be 1 card. If he's got a combo that blocks for 3, right? That'll go to
Yeah,
5
then
plus
you go
his
to 1.
boots go to 6.
But then you're in reckless range.
No, he's got the boots. He could go 5 plus 1. I don't know if he has a 3
5
block.
plus 1. No, but any damage makes him in reckless, which is hard. So now you see Chris laughing a bit. Well, assuming this is a tough decision. This is the reckless decision. You see this right
Yeah.
here? This is where
He's like,
WTR flashbacks
he's
of
like, how lucky. What is it? You feeling lucky, punk?
yeah. It's like, does he draw the reckless here on this next turn? That's what you have to be asking yourself. Does he draw the reckless next turn? Does he?
Yeah.
Doesn't have it in hand. It's not set up, so he just has to get lucky here. And get that reckless, or he pitch attacked it. So there's still 2 in the deck. We've seen 1. Perfect. These block correctly here. Flick Flack making kind of overblock a bit, but it's okay. Chris though still has a strong clapback. He has a blue 0. That's 2 Kadachis,
Yeah.
and he has something in Arsenal which could be a 4, which could make it even
Yeah.
more. So you're gonna get 1 card out of Connor no matter what.
He's
Chris not gambling. Chris is not a gambler. He says I stay
Yeah.
at 3, which I commend him. I think I would have made that decision too. Like they always have it. When you say they don't have it, they always have
They
it.
always have it. Yeah.
You
And
can't-
we've gone a lot of turns and we've only seen 1, so
Yeah, there's 2 in there, and you know that the game's been going for a little bit.
the time is near.
And it's funny because a lot of people will say the Katsu is very favored into Reinhardt, but I think both players have shown like a really clean game, respecting each
Yeah.
other's power turns, and shows like how actually close that matchup is.
Totally.
People can look at these specs like, oh yeah, he art award me, then I lost, but like that's just high rolling. High roll happens to everybody. So I think you see a game where this isn't high rolling, this is just pure knowledge.
Oh, that's actually a good point. I think he blocked 2 surging strikes, didn't he? Which are not buffed by.
It was 2 surges, so
Which is not buffed by Flick Flack.
Flick Flack is only buffing combo cards.
Yeah, so that is an error.
Yeah, so Chris is actually at lower health, right? Because
Yeah, no,
the surging block 2, and he
Yeah,
he
it
is-
did. It didn't get buffed too by but they played it as if one of the surgings was buffed too.
Okay, we're gonna have our judge gonna. I can't make him stop from it once you realize this. But who has impacted a decision too soon? I think this is just a common mistake by Chris and unintentional. Obviously, Chris isn't Katsu main, so
No,
sometimes those nuances get lost in the sauce when
yeah, when
playing.
you're switching characters every week.
Oh, 100%. Reading's hard. I say that all the time. I try my best, but
Yeah. I forget what my cards do, and I've played the same deck for 6 months.
I've been crippling crushed and spinaled so much, and I always ask, "What do these do?"
Yeah.
I think it really pisses off Guardians.
Is this the go again one? Is this the discard one?
Which one?
Exactly.
Yeah,
That's what you ask.
Kadashi Lock feels good. We're having a producer go out there and make sure to kind of check the game state here. This is definitely hard. I think traditionally how this would play, let's say if you're at Pro Tour and this happens, right? What would be the usual resolution? They played through it, right? So you would just continue going on?
Yeah. So it's weird because like it's not like a missed trigger or something. It's literally like the those cards don't block for 4. They both get a I guess violation of game state warning at a pro level, right?
At pro level, correct. Just some insight.
But yeah, it's hard to you can't really roll it back, right? Because he might.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a huge difference, right? Not only, and he might block him like 100 win. The card he ended up pitching to swing those Kadachis actually does block for 4. So maybe he chooses to block a surging and a.
Yeah, it seems like they did give him the -2 here, but they're gonna try and roll over it. Like he's like, oh, you're at 2 technically. This didn't block that. He said, okay. We're all learning here a little bit, so you just take the mistake. This is AG is going to be not Pro Tour level, not a Nats level, it's a casual competitive. So we acknowledge it. We make mistakes. It wasn't malicious at all. I don't think Chris is trying to get an advantage, and we learn from it and move on.
But I think Chris is probably bummed because I think he
thought he was at a higher point.
Well, he probably would have blocked
differently
with a card that blocked for 6.
Yeah, he would have blocked differently because of that. Like the Dishonor, I think blocked for 3, and then something else. You could have used one surging in the boots. So, these mistakes happen. This is why we practice, or we come out to these large events and really test that mental. He's had a long day for sure.
Yeah, no. Chris does not want to win through. Nefarious means.
No, it's just a game. We're all learning, we're having fun, and we laugh at the mistakes and grow from them. So Chris down doing his best at 1 at reckless range. Unfortunately, Connor just has to find it and discard the right one because I've seen people discard reckless, not hit the right one.
Yeah.
So here's the blocks. Chris is now locked. He is in claw lock if he can discard 1.
He doesn't have it in his arsenal, so is it going to be in this hand?
It's always. Look, that deck's so thin. Yeah, and then there's that as well. I thought he did.
You don't block with Blood Rush unless you have Reckless Sway in your hand.
Yep. GG.
Yeah, no. Chris is mad at himself.
It's okay. There's some mistakes happening there. Like I said, it happens. That's a big one. Congratulations to Connor playing through. Being a really resilient Rhinar, like I said, coming in. Just Reinhardt's wanting to prove that Reinhardt's great. It's a fun deck. It's interactive sometimes when he doesn't intimidate your whole hand. But Connor played as close as I think he could,
Yeah.
Go back to casters. Boom. How do you feel about WTR heroes resurging back in the meta? Like getting these buffs. You see Katsu coming like all the way back from pretty much unplayable reaches because of these new cards like Path and Water. Do you want to see that effect happen more with Reinhardt, with Dorinthia, which we might see in this next Dawn set?
100%. I mean, I think people love the WTR heroes. They're really like well done. WTR Flesh and Blood is just great Flesh and Blood. So, I think you're always happy to see him. I told Blake in the last round, like a meta where Katsu is viable, I think is good Flesh and Blood.
That's good Flesh and Blood,
right? Like he's like that means things are working well.
Okay.
In my opinion, so I'm happy to see him doing well. And Rhinar, maybe he's about to win this thing, so maybe he doesn't need to be buffed, but he probably does. It would be nice. This has probably been talked to death, right? The lack of on hits.
Yeah.
Intimidates kind of good sometimes and terrible other times.
Right.
And so, giving him a little more agency and a little bit more way to disrupt the game, I think would be great.
I sold this to Blake. I'm gonna sell it to you. My card idea for Reinhardt is a new mechanic. It's called a de-accelerator.
Okay.
And it'd be something like a headbutt effect. If it hits, we both lose 1 intelligence.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of fun. Reinhardt still likes
Yeah,
2-card hands. It
yeah.
might affect the other person playing out bigger turns, and it's just kind of fun and goofy.
No, that is a cool thing, like right, because he plays well on smaller hands.
Yeah,
so.
exactly. So why don't we both play a smaller hand, a fairer game? So I hope to see things like that maybe come into fruition. Just
Yeah.
more fun.
Yeah. Hakudos in chat said a way to play without Blood Rush package would be cool, and it's
Yeah.
true, right? Like he kind of lives and dies by that one card right now. So
That's a big power spike. Yeah.
a way to not have to rely on that would be nice.
Yeah, he has Berserk. My friend was testing. He's a Reinhardt main that's here. He's testing Berserk as another thing to kind of accelerate his damage and things
Yeah.
like that. But just not consistent.
Yeah.
He has kind of like the Levia problem where it's just not enough new cards. That you're
Yeah.
seeing.
I actually really like your idea of going the other way rather than trying to speed Rhinar up. Give him ways to slow other people down, right?
Oh yeah,
like
definitely.
in another in a non-ice way, right?
Yeah, in a non-tax
yeah.
way. Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes the game shorter and makes vanilla
Yeah.
damage, I think, a lot more impactful.
Right, because if you're playing 2-card hands against most heroes, Rhinar wins, right?
Yeah.
So how do you, if he can have ways to kind of move towards that,
Yep.
In a way that's different than get you down to 1, right?
And then he can make it a pummel target even better. Even better.
Cool.
Just quick pick your brain. What are you most excited for in the next Sotons? I know you've been playing Oldhim. You've been playing Bravo as a Guardian main. You're gonna have Light come back, which I know is like the epitome of like Guardians. Is like Prism's coming back. Like that's like such a hard matchup.
If they bring what's it, Vincent? What's the new?
The new Shadow Rune Blade.
If Vincent is a quote unquote fixed chain, I mean that would be great. I mean, there's a reason Chain is so beloved. I mean, he was the design of it is just awesome. Playing from your banished is really cool. There's so much. It's so thoughtful. If they can do something along those lines, but that's not also, kind of
overpowered or
and like
impressive. Yeah.
I think the biggest issue with Chain, even more than just his raw power level, was like he almost warps the game. I think he does warp the game in a way. Like, everybody else gets weaker as the game goes on, or like illusionists have to set all this stuff up. He just like, oh, okay, I got this Shackle 5, Shackle 6. You don't get to play Flesh and Blood anymore
because I'm so much stronger in the game because I ramp over time. Like
right,
it's very interesting.
And it kind of like it was kind of antithetical to how Flesh and Blood generally works.
Yeah.
So a way that they can let him play out of his banish and do a lot of the cool stuff, but not have that mechanic.
Yeah.
I mean,
Free Gogen's good.
Yeah.
Free Gogen is an amazing ability.
Yeah.
No, I'm excited. I'm a big Shadow player, so I'm excited to see what they bring in the mix. And like it seems like they're moving design philosophies around. They gave like I said Reinhardt like a rock. They're trying to make him like big swingy like small card hands like we were saying. So it's interesting to see that being here from the start, like WTR crew and stuff like that. See them pivot to kind of make sure it's not going to be too power crept as time goes on.
Yeah.
And trying different angles.
Well, it's funny because they're almost. I mean, I guess there is power creep. Like codexes are obviously super, but like there's almost like power. What's the opposite of power creep? Like deflation. Like I think what we're gonna see with the new prisms. I don't think the new prism's gonna be as strong as old prism.
Gotcha.
By design, because I think she was probably too strong.
Yep.
Swing won one game. Sigil won the other game.
Interesting.
Oh, so we just got word that the other semifinals match was actually won through a Sigil of Suffering. So both matches were won on
the back foot
defense reactions.
Sick.
That's a fun way to lose Flesh and Blood. Let me tell you, nothing feels better than losing on your own turn. The worst is against Rhinar when like you're alive, but you really don't have any way to win the game. You're like, oh, this is ridiculous. Just stop swinging.
So our final is going to be Briar versus Reinhardt.
Yeah.
That's going to be a slog fest.
Yeah. All right.
Well, we'll have more
All right.
after the break. Craig, thanks for coming on. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
casting.
Thanks for a lot.
Appreciate it.
I
Definitely.
appreciate it.
See you guys at the finals. Be back in about 5 minutes.